Good morning and welcome to ATI Pro Media. It is Thursday, December 19th. And are we going to have a government shutdown over the weekend? About 20 minutes ago, I would have said absolutely. Now, the more I read, it seems like talks are continuing. Maybe we can avoid a shutdown. Time will tell. But I think the main thing I need to focus on is what does that mean in terms of the economic aid? What's a government shutdown mean for the next 30 days in ag? And we'll get into all that. Other thing, I hate to talk about it, but we got to soybeans. It's been a rough week for the soybean market, right? Down something like 45, 50 cents on the week. We're seeing a little bounce, right? Up 5 cents today, but soybean market's dead. And it has not been a winner into this Christmas season. Other things, we saw the Fed do as expected, right? We saw them cut rates, but again, we always need to listen to rhetoric, and they give us some clues into what they're thinking for 2025. I don't think I missed anything. Brady Huck's working hard today, so it's just going to be me. So we can talk about whatever you want. Drop a question. We'll see where it goes with that. I'll do a quick. Let's quote up the markets quick. Not a whole lot of movement, but we'll go ahead and jump over to LaSalle Street. So looking at the corn market, whole lot of volatility. We got March corn up a penny. May up a quarter of a cent, not a big trading range there. March corn's at 438. Soybeans, January soybeans up 7, bouncing a little bit after the steep drop yesterday, sitting at 958. Wheat's definitely the loser right now. March Chicago wheat down 8. Looking at hard red wheat down 5, KC down 6. Jumping over, let's look at cattle. Right, we've got hogs up. Hogs are up slightly. Cattle looks like it's live cattle down. I don't know, right around $1. Feeders up $1.65. Good to see. We've got the Dow up. Nat gas trading higher. Crude oil trading higher. And so we'll take it with that. Let's go ahead and jump into it. And so I think, the first thing we got to talk about the soybean market. Ugly week, ugly day yesterday. Significant drop, right? We're just seeing almost the perfect storm right now. In terms of renewable fuels, we've got nothing on the horizon, especially if we see a government shutdown. We continue to see a good South American crop. We continue to see that Brazil, U.S. dollar, right, is definitely not favoring U.S. exports, right, pushing it there. And we're seeing soybeans react accordingly, right? I think on the week, right, we've seen Jan soybeans fall as much as 50 cents right now with the bounce with soybeans up 6. We've got them down right around 45, 44 cents down on the week. So let's hope they find a bottom, right? We'll see where this goes. But it's been an ugly week for soybeans, right? And so other than that, we did have a sale, right? We did have a flash sale, so we'll go ahead and bump that up because we try and keep some things positive, right? And so we'll see 152,000 metric ton soybeans sold to unknown destinations, and then 75,000 for 25-26 for the next marketing year sold to unknown destinations as well. We will take it. We will take all we can get. It's going to be interesting watching soybean exports going into the new year, right? Not even considering tariffs, right? When we have that big South American crop, potentially big, right? Potentially record soybean production in Brazil, Argentina. We'll see what that does to U.S. exports, and we'll keep that in mind. And so with that, where are we going next, guys? You guys want to talk Fed rate before we jump into the government shutdown? And so we saw the Fed cut its overnight borrowing rate to a target range of 4.25 to 4.5%, back to the level we saw back in December 2022. Let's pop this graph up there. And so as you can see, right, we've got a ways to go, and it sounds like it might be a little bit of a grind getting back to that target rate of 2% because, we expected a rate cut. Jay Powell's one message was that he said today's cut was a closer call, right? Meaning it was a little bit harder of a decision to cut rates. They went ahead and did it. But it looks like his message was that they're going to be more cautious on cuts going forward. Right now, we've only got 2 rates predicted for 2025, right? And so in terms of getting inflation down, seeing that drop, right, I feel like it's going to be a little bit more of a grind then really getting it down very quickly, right? Stark contrast to when we started ATI Pro Media a year ago. The hope was that we were going to see much more rate cuts for 2024 than we did, and now leading into 2025, not predicting a whole lot of cuts. Jay Powell was very quick not to, he didn't give us a whole lot of talk on how he's to look at the Trump administration, right? It feels like he's going to be a little bit more reactionary. But the talk of only seeing a couple rate cuts, right? To me, that says they're taking a wait and see approach. They're happy with where they are. They're happy. Their message was that 2024 has been a great year for the economy, right? And they're going to be more cautious on rates going forward. So time will tell, right? And then with that rhetoric, we saw the Dow sell off significantly, right? The Dow plunged more than 1,100. I think, Joe, what were you saying? At its bottom, it was closer to 1,500, right? Yeah. So we saw these in a row. It's the longest losing streak we've seen since 1974, and I believe it was the worst performance we've seen since March of 2023. So Stark Market didn't like that. We're only going to see a couple rate cuts. We saw it take it on the chin, and then we'll see where it goes, right? It's bouncing a little bit today, but if there's anything going into 2025, I think we got to talk about the uncertainty. And with that, we got to talk about the potential, right, for a government shutdown and where we're going to go. So beginning of this week, we talked about the potential for economic aid to farmers. Is it going to be in this stopgap funding bill? What are we going to see now? Right, we're seeing the government maybe. We're seeing Trump, Elon Musk, Vivek, right, come out and say we do not want to see this pass, and we're seeing the package end up dead in the water. Now, as the show was starting, I was just reading a little bit. It sounds like they're still in talks, maybe to revamp it, right? Get some disaster relief, get some type of package, maybe that continues the government to be open. But right now, I think it's kind of an unknown, right? It's going to be maybe wild into the government going to be open Monday, right? Because if this doesn't pass, we're going to see the first shutdown since 2018. Yeah, and so with that, I gotta say a couple points that I saw, right? The bill was, what was it, Rick? 1,547 pages or something like that, right? Interesting things we saw raises for Congress. We saw a big disaster relief, economic aid for farmers, right? And then also, right, throw in a new stadium for the Washington Commanders. So a lot of stuff was bunched into that, right? We're seeing the future administration say they don't want to see it pass, right? We shouldn't pass. What was Elon Musk's term was, we don't want to see anything pass until Trump's back in office. So, time will tell. We'll see. Maybe they get it worked out. But I think the first thing that we need to keep in mind is that we did see, right, if the bill was going to pass, is that we had potential economic aid, right? And I've seen multiple different numbers, so don't hold me to these numbers. But what we were going to see, right, is a payment that was based on 100% of planted acres in 2024. So corn using a 410 market average, using the national yield at 8 cents a bushel, you're looking at around $57 an acre. Soybeans, similar methodology for pricing, $43 an acre. Wheat was looking at $37 an acre. If you put it in prevent plant, you were going to get 50% of those values. And then we saw limits of 125,000 per entity, and then 250,000 limit per entity if more than 75% of gross income from farming for years 2021 and 22. So that was the potential. Right now, I think it's still, we're kind of back to square one, right? Are we going to see economic aid at all, right? If the government shutdowns, at the very least, we're not going to see it until we get a some type of stopgap spending bill passed, or we get Trump in office. But an interesting point I saw floating around is that if we see a government shutdown, right, and if it goes into when Trump starts his presidency, we're not going to see any USDA reports, which means a big one that we talk about is that final yield USDA report. I think it's January 10th. I always say it's January 6th because that seems to be it's right around that time, but I think it's January 10th. We won't see that USDA report, which could have some interesting implications in terms of marketing, right? A long way away. We'll know a lot more even today, but definitely into the weekend if we're going to see a government shutdown, right? There's a reason we go live on this show because when I started building it, it looked like it wasn't if, but how long is the government shutdown going to last? Now, the more I read, maybe we see Trump meeting with certain lawmakers. I think maybe we could potentially see something get passed. Time will tell, though, right? It's changing very quickly. But in terms of economic aid, in terms of a farm bill, right? We're not going to see any, we're a year behind on getting a farm bill. I would say the odds that we get a new farm bill in 2024 completely out the window. And time will tell what are we going to see for 2025. So, that's the big one. I don't know what we're going to see, but time will continue to update you, right? Because that's going to be a big one. I know it's on the forefront of a lot of your minds, but we'll continue talking that and we'll see. Are we going to have a government shutdown Monday? Who knows? So with that, I'm talking fast. I'm running through these things. But let's go ahead and do a quick plug. What do we talk about on premium, guys? If you got that thumbnail, I'll get to that here soon. If you have that, pop it up. But we kind of took it back to basics. Brady and I talked, and around the Christmas time frame, we wanted to get things kind of back to basics, right? Because I think was it Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, then you don't understand it. But we wanted to talk about what is a call option and then why buy them, right? So part one, let's talk about the actual breakdown of call options, right? Talk about the execution. What is a call option? And then number two, how are we using it in grain marketing, right? Because a lot of it, we got to get the psyche right and make sure we understand why are we using those call options. Let's make sure we're using them the right way. So that's what we tried to talk about. I hope it was a good video for premium subscribers. So with that, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and pop up the question, see what we got, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. Buckeye Farm Boy, Bloomberg report out 2 days ago saying China is running out of soybeans. Southern China processors idling plants because China won't import enough beans. Okay, I had not read that, Buckeye Farm Boy, but I'll take it, right? We continue to see good flash sales. In terms of, like a 5-year average in soybean exports, it's not the worst, but we're also not the best, right? We got a ways to go. And so I guess if you wanted to be a soybean bull, because at these prices, my gosh, what else can we do but hope that the price goes higher, right? We need to see China really step up to the plate and buy a lot of soybeans, because the end of the day, when we're talking the soybean market, right, we've got a monster coming online in the next 30, 60 days in terms of Brazil, Argentina. And so, and then also I think we need to look at, I'll make sure Brady talks about it tomorrow, is just looking at the relationship between the US dollar and Brazil currency, right? Because right now exports are definitely favoring Brazil soybeans. So if China needs to buy, let's say that comes to fruition, China needs to buy a whole lot of soybeans, I think Brazil's up to the task, right? I hate to be negative, but hopefully we can see something like that. Good question or good comment. So any other comments? Nope. Joe's saying wrap it up. He's tired of hearing me talk, but so we will see, right? It seems like every day we've got a new topic in terms of the economic aid package, in terms of a government shutdown. Continues to be an ongoing story. It's going to be a story tomorrow too. Make sure to tune in. We've got cattle on feed report tomorrow. Brady Huck will be talking about that, give you an update there. And with that, let me find the close button. We'll go ahead and wrap up the show. As always, if you have any questions, any comments, drop them, send us an email, give us a call. We love to talk about them. But with that, everyone have a great Thursday. Get your Christmas shopping in, right? It is 6 days till Christmas. It'll be here before you know it. Everyone have a great day.